from PRX.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary. It's time for the podcaster who thinks, I wouldn't say I think pumpkin, you know how I feel about pumpkin spice. I feel unfortunately, how come my most healthy feelings are about pumpkin spice? Because I say I don't see pumpkin spice or pumpkin pie spice in an all or nothing way. I say, well, I see it in the great gray area that most of life exists in, or the great, what is it? Was that what the great pumpkin was really trying to teach us? Or was he trying to teach independence and enjoyment, imagination in the face of whatever, kids that don't necessarily subscribe to that kind of thing? But I say, because with me and pumpkin pie spice, I say, well, yeah, or pumpkins. I say, well, that's not bad. That one I like. That one, not interested in that. I don't need pumpkin spice in that. Anyway, it's time for, you see, what is this person going on about? I thought this was a sleep podcast. You're right. And it's time. This is a look back. This episode's about 3-4 years old. Look back at an episode celebrating this Halloween season and the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that'll put you to sleep with that kind of content. Hey, before we get to the sponsors here, I just wanted to let you know that this show comes from a place of compassion and caring about you, because you deserve a good night's sleep, you deserve to be seen, and you deserve a safe place. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I'm trying to operate out of that old place of the golden rule of compassion, of empathy. And, I'm just learning. I'm barely just, a preteen as far as my maturity goes. But I want to let you know that you're important. And if you need extra resources right now, there's links to organizations that can steer you in the right direction. And that means supporting the members of our community. And right now, that means supporting the Black members of our community, because Black lives matter. And so if you've been impacted or you're looking to be a part of the solution, there'll be links to resources and organizations in the show notes too. So you can be empowered to take action from a place of compassion, because that's what guides this show. And that's what really, in the end, it's all about. So that's that. And then these are the sponsors that bring us to the show twice a week for free. All right, everybody, it's Scoots here. I wanted to ask you if you've ever considered becoming a patron, because now is an amazing time to become one. And you might say, well, who would become a patron? Who would pay for a free podcast, right? That's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, our patrons are a bit ridiculous. They say, yeah, if I met Scooter, I would buy him a pizza a month. I'd spend $20 and give him a pizza for the value I get out of the show every month. I listen to it every night. Or, well, I might not buy you pizza, Scoots, but I'll buy you a couple cups of ice cream, a couple cones of ice cream. So I guess it's like the first question to ask yourself is, do you listen to the show on a regular basis? Do you get a lot of value out of it, especially compared to things you pay for, like your cable and your music subscription and all your streaming services? What do you use more, Sleep With Me or one of those? And if the answer is, well, I don't know. Like you said, do you look forward to listening to Sleep With Me? Do you really enjoy it? And do you want more? Like if you support the show $5 a month, you get ad-free episodes. It's kind of like the definition of value for value. You value the show, I give you value back. Ad-free shows, no jingles, and no thank yous at the end, because those are things people said, hey, those I listen all night. I prefer something a little smoother. You also get story-only episodes. $10 and $20 patrons get a little bit more because they're doing a little bit more. So they get extra episodes, all intro episodes twice a month, all-night episodes once a month, and exclusive episodes like Behind Outer Things, and coming up in a few months, something about Great British Bake Off. So if you get value out of the show, or you want more, or you're just a rebel, think about becoming a patron. Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the loud part of the podcast where I pop my peas because I'm so pleased with the people that supported the sponsors. This is how I get to bring the show twice a week for free, and keeping the podcast free instead of behind a paywall. It's because these listeners supported the sponsors and amplified their support by letting the sponsors and other people know about it. And I want to thank Fox, who supported native deodorant, Fletch, who supported native deodorant and Celestial Seasonings. We're trying to get Celestial back on the show. And then Jennifer, who tagged Celestial Seasonings, also got a Quip, supported Grove, and got some sleep phones. So thank you, Fox, thank you, Fletch, and thank you, Jennifer, for being a sleep-based supporter of the show. If you support a sponsor, you check them out. There's a lot of great deals. There's free sponsors, free trials. That's what I never understand, how we don't just sell those companies out of their stuff. You know, you could always go when your hand hits the fridge tomorrow morning, you go to get your coffee or your juice or water, go to say, oh, wait, let me go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors, see who supports the show that will help me sleep so good last night. And then when you find out, you know, something that works for you and you get a product, tag me, tag the sponsor. I'll thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone, like Fox, Fletch, and Jennifer. Thanks, everybody. The second part of Sleepy Supporter Zone is getting the support you need. If you're having a tough time right now, there's going to be links to organizations that can connect you with resources in the show notes, which you can find in your podcast app, you know, right in the text part of your podcast app or most podcast apps. And then it's also a part about being a part of community, being a part of change, and supporting the Black members of our community right now. So whether you're interested in self-examination, becoming an anti-racist, or you've been impacted by racism, there's going to be links to organizations that can help you on your journey in the show notes. And community is a part of it is saying, no, this isn't okay. And that's why I'm supporting Justice for Breonna Taylor. And I'm going to have links to resources. We have to let our representatives know this can't go on any longer and demand change from Congress. There's also links to the Louisville Community Bail Fund and to the Louisville Healing Fund, so we could support the members of that community. And all those links will be in the show notes. That's the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Well, Mystery Bar, a lot of people help out on this show, including you. Who are they?
This poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer, and Ashley. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bar. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. It's almost Christmas, y'all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. We're raising money for the Water Wheel Foundation, and Scooter might get a perm.
Thanks, Mr. Bard. I'm at Dear Scooter, Dearest with a T, Scooter, Instagram, on Twitter. And if you listen in a podcast app, make sure you're listening at 1x speed. I hear from people sometimes and they accidentally bump it up to 2 times speed or 1.5. And then also make sure Vocal Boost or Smart Speed or Truncate Silence, whatever it's called, is turned off in your podcast app. That'd be in the advanced settings, because taking out the silences from this show, while it might work in a business podcast, it definitely disrupts the flow of the show, makes it sound faster than it is. And the Vocal Boost, we already have our show mastered at a pretty good volume, so you don't need that either. And that's the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. What do you say? Or whatever. What do you say we get on? Oh, we already got on. Scoots, let's slow it down and get on with the show. Able night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. Here's what I'm offering to do. Here's what I'm attempting. I guess I'm not offering. I mean, there's 2 things. There's attempting and offering. This podcast, there's at least 2 parts to it. There's the offering part. I'm offering to talk while you fall asleep. Ideally distract you from whatever it is that's keeping you up awake. But what I'm going to attempt to do, how do I propose I can't? That's my offer. I'm here to talk you to sleep. I'll be here for the next hour. Hopefully it helps you fall asleep. How do I plan on accomplishing that? Well, that's a great question, by the way. If you don't mind me buttering you up and saying, whoa, do you ask these kind of wonderful questions at every podcast you listen to? And you might be saying, well, I just thought of the question. I said, well, that's how it works around here, these parts. So it's the magic of podcasting. Great job. Keep up that good work with those silent questions, by the by. But here, let me answer your question. And I know maybe someone's like, well, I wasn't thinking of or asking your question. I say, well, you were working your way up to it. I know how you were ready to launch soon. It's just percolating. That's how your brain works. Anyway, but buttering up's done. I've never done buttering up. Butter up that popcorn. I guess I'm done with the buttering up metaphors because I can't think anything else other than buttering bread. Were these things proven to be unhealthy and then recently they were proven to be neutral? It won't be buttering any coffee. I think that's the thing, right? Buttered coffee, or is it coconut? Is there buttered coffee or is it just a coconut coffee? Anyway, I'll keep buttering it. But here's what, actually, I'm way off. This is the beginning of the intro. I'm already off track. But here's what I propose to do, and it will butter you up. I don't always do that. Once in a while, I got to say, hey, great job listening. You're doing a heck of a good job turning this podcast on. Thank you. And I'm serious. That's not a diminutive compliment. Thank you for listening. But here's what I propose to do. How do I propose to accomplish what I've offered? This feels like this is a good discussion. I'm glad we sat down and finally talked about all this podcast stuff. And if you're new here, thanks for, let's get this out of the way right up front. You're right. Whatever the Harvard negotiation product, I'm working, I haven't, they don't return my emails, but I said, hey, what about that Harvard negotiation? They still have that over there at Harvard, the negotiation project or whatever it's called? Can we get you on the podcast intro, the Harvard podcast intro, because the intro is a negotiation. I'm introducing you. Then I'm making my offering, and now I'm saying, how am I going to deliver on it? I kind of feel like if this podcast, I feel like a used car salesman, but I wouldn't, I'm not good at it, so I could do that. I could sell used cars on this podcast. I wouldn't sell any cars. If anyone's from GM's listening, I do want to get you, I would like to check out that Chevy Volt or whatever. So I wouldn't mind selling a car for you in this podcast. But anyway, I don't think I could sell any cars to people, just like Larry David in the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. But this would be more, anyway, I'm trying to, holy moly. So here's what I'm going to attempt. I'm going to try to create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thinking, physical feelings or uncomfortableness or even more than that. Any emotional turbulence, ups, and you could be in the middle of an up, you could be in the middle of a down, you could just have that, what I have, a general state of unrest, I guess, or what, I don't even know if that's the right word. You could have friggin' neighbors making a bunch of noise. You could, could watch the news. That was a mistake, Or you could have talked about any of that stuff. You could have talked to someone. You could opinions. Opinions people have a few, and that can keep you awake. And you could be going through some sort of opinion analysis, or say, well, I don't know how many other people imagine spend. I spend like I've talked about this a few times. But one of the reasons I make this podcast is because I have about 5 stories in my brain at all times. And most of them are, but usually I have one debating, some sort of debating narrative going on, even if it's not about debates or politics, it's some sort of, Anyway, sorry. So I'm going to try to create a safe place where there is no debating, where there is no internal or external opinions or analysis of those things. But it could be something totally different that's keeping you awake. Whatever it is, I'm going to try to take your mind off of that. Because, I hope I didn't remind anybody of anything, but it's like, geez, we can all relate here because you know where we are. Even if you're in the day shift or you're a third shift worker, I send my voice across the deep, dark night, even if daylight hits it or whatever. It's in a tube, so it can't, as I send my voice, like, if you go ahead and, usually this isn't a participatory intro. But if you do have access to a cardboard tube right now, like that, your paper towels come in, toilet one would be a little short, toilet paper one. Plus, I don't know if I'd want to put or longer, like a poster tube. That's where I'm going to send my voice through the deep, dark night, across the deep, dark night. And that way, even if it's a light out in the tube, it's still the deep, dark night. And why do I do that? Because I've been there tossing and turning. Clearly, I'm not a person with a full deck. It's the deck. Can't even say deck. That's how, and the deck, and my brain does have some DAC in it. I think that was a hair product back, and then it was went back in my tasting days. I said, what flavor does a neon pink DAC taste like? Again, kids, don't do this at home because it was way more water. But trust me on this, it was way more watery. Not much of flavor in those DACs or whatever the 80s hair gel was that would be colored neon colors just for selling the product. It didn't change the color of your hair. Because I think they had purple, yellow was the most popular, maybe a green or a blue. They all tasted the same anyway, by the way, and it was watery. But anyway, where was it? So I'm going to try to create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's keeping you awake. A little bit silly. I mean, the podcast doesn't necessarily have to make you laugh. Maybe, if you could throw a chuckle my way, I'd appreciate it, but you don't need to chuckle. Shoulder shrug, I appreciate that. You say, well, let's see, what is this? What's up with this cat? And I'd say, man, you're hip. You use the word cat like that. Is that good? When you called me a cat, was that good? I mean, I'm part of your brain, Scoots. Keep going with okay, I'll keep going with the intro. So anyway, I'm here to take your mind off stuff. Send my voice across the deep dark. I'm going to use these creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous words for sure. Purple prose, if I knew what that meant, and I've had someone try to explain, actually the wonderful Craig Mazin tried to explain it to me once on Twitter, and then I forgot what he said, and actually I didn't think it was, I said, did you say purple paper? Or maybe I thought he said purple pose, and he said purple prose is when you, I think you use too many, you say you over-describe stuff. He wasn't talking about me, that was episode Script Notes podcast. Podcast is things interesting. Oh boy, things about screen and interesting to screenwrite. I don't know. Script Notes podcast about screenwriting and things interesting to screenwriters. Sorry, I get a fugue stated there. After delay effect of eating too much DAC as a young man. But if you're new here, I guess it definitely it cleared all illusions of what this podcast. This podcast is a little bit different. It's silly, like we were saying. And it's supposed to be distracting. It's supposed to take your mind off stuff. You say, well, I don't have to take this person seriously. But I'm here to be friendly. This is a friendly offering. I'm going to follow through on it. I follow through on this. Episodes are about an hour, so it'll be here. And I'll be here till the end, giving it my all. Just in case you can't fall asleep, you can take your time getting there, And if you can't, I'll be here the whole time to keep you company. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, all you got to do is lie back to hopefully, as I've been rambling, and you say, well, I kind of don't really get this. When does the podcast start? It started, already started. Now, just in case you want to skip to the story parts, the time stamps are in there. But I guess I mix it up even now. But I guess this podcast is meant to take your mind off stuff. distract you while you fall asleep. Repetitive repeating. That's another technique I use. But in all seriousness, mispronunciations. In all seriousness, the reason I make this podcast is because I still have trouble falling asleep. And I can remember, I know what I don't, if I can help you fall asleep, it'd be great. It'd be my honor. Because I've been there. So hopefully you took your mind off stuff so far. Tonight's episode is going to be like a little bit different. Usually we have Metastasis news episodes, but with the season, we're going to talk about a little seasonal specials here for the pumpkin season. So you just kick back, you'll listen to me ramble. I'll be here, like I said, like at least an hour. You're under no pressure to fall asleep, but you're also under no pressure to listen. And I'm glad you're here. If you agree, this wasn't my best intro, but if you're new here, I really appreciate you trying this podcast out. I know it takes some skepticism because there's so many sleep solutions and stuff. But like I said, it's just a sleep offering. It's here for you to try. And I really hope it, and I really yearn to help you fall asleep with it. So thanks. Hey, everybody, before we get to the story here, I just want to check in and say, I work really hard to bring you the show on a regular basis, and I'm going to keep it going, and I'm going to be here for you during this time, this special time we're sharing, right? Because I know it's important for me to create a safe place for you to fall asleep. And if you really value that safe place, if you really get a lot out of it, it's an option, but you could consider paying for the podcast. It's absolutely ridiculous and rebellious. But if you get enough out of it where you say, wait a second, is this like a community garden? I wanted this garden to flourish and be there for everybody because I know 1 out of every 100 people supporting the show or supporting the sponsors is all it takes for the podcast, and not just to exist, but when we push past that 1 out of every 100 and you become the 2 out of every 100 people, it puts us in a position where we can flourish. And you say, well, do you want your community garden? Do you say, well, it's not, you can decide. You say, well, I'm not in a position to support the community garden right now. Or, yeah, I guess it doesn't, but if you say, yeah, I want it to be there, or I want it to flourish, think about becoming a patron, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. That's the main reason to become the show. You also get amazing rewards, ad-free episodes, so you don't have to listen to this stuff at $5 a month, story-only episodes at $5 a month. What else? At $10 and $20 a month, you get all intro episodes twice a month. I know that's something people really love, so you could check those out. You get all-night episodes, and you get exclusive patron-only series like Behind Otter Things, or coming up in the next few months, a British Bake Off, kind of a British Bake Off fact-based series. So just think about it. It's an option. If you're a rebel, if you get a lot of value out of the show and you say, well, I do really value this podcast. I listen to it a lot. If those are the answers and you feel rebellious, go sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And I guess, I don't know, should I put out my personal feelings about this? So I watched this a few times, and I'm going to have it playing on and off while I record here. And, I don't know when this came out. It was before my time, this special. But even when I was a lad, this was like the Halloween special. And I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but it was never my cup of tea. And I don't mean that. I mean that overall. There are certain things I really like about It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which we'll talk about. And maybe they have some other memory to attach to this, but I have like this visceral thing where I'm like, I don't know, and maybe, I don't know if it's like the story snob in me, or if it's just something else, or maybe like, I don't think it's a contrarian thing. It's not like I don't know, it just wasn't a special where I'm like, man, I can't wait to watch It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So I guess digging deeper, maybe it's like a level of shame that I didn't share that, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I said, well, what's wrong with me that I don't love It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? Because there are things I love about it. The music, the colors, Linus and Snoopy. And then there's, I guess, and maybe it's just like they identify so much with Linus and Charlie Brown at different times that that's what it is. I don't know. And I think watching this a few times cleared it up, but let's run through scene by scene here a few times. So the first run through, what I noticed was like Linus and Lucy come out of a house, and there's an apple, and there's tongue piles. What does that say? I don't know. Tongue pites, tang pites. There's a sun, and there's an intro into they go into the pumpkin patch, and they're picking a great pink sky. Oh, picking into the pumpkin patch, picks a giant something. He has trouble with the fence. Linus rolls the pumpkin, crash, and then they carries it in the door. It's heavy. And then Lucy's very good with a knife, and then Linus is sad about the pumpkin, and because he says, "I can't believe I didn't realize what you were going to do to the pumpkin." And then the scene changes. So let's go to my next set of notes. Okay, these are a little more poetic. Fall leaves, simple houses, watercolor backgrounds, red sun. Classic music theme, blue fence, green grass, purple sidewalk against a dusk sky. Love the love of dusk, like how much Schultz and the artist love dusk. Inside of the house, there's cheap carpet and yellow walls and curtains. So that's the first two times I watched it, what I came up with the first scene. Okay, so I'm watching this. And they come out of the house, and Linus he picks up an apple and is grinning on it off the ground. There's a stark apple tree losing its leaves, an orange sun. He's carrying his blankie, he's eating the apple. He only takes a couple bites before he throws it away. I didn't think that was the greatest example. Kicks some leaves, Linus does. Now the sun is red, a watercolor sky. Into a pumpkin patch right by them. That's pretty rare. And especially, like, I don't know if this is a communal pumpkin patch. Linus is looking and Lucy's just saying, no, 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 no. Like she's a judge. She's carrying the thing. It's huge. The pumpkin, he's holding it. And then again, the beautiful sky. It's like pink and purple. Wow. I mean, that's powerful, powerful art. And Linus has to roll the pumpkin to get around this blue fence. There's the purple sidewalk and the watercolor skies. Pumpkins start moving too fast, and then Linus drags Linus straight to the house. Lucy's not pleased that he couldn't handle the pumpkin. He's afraid of his sister. She's glaring at him as he carries the pumpkin into the house. And now we see the cheap carpet, almost like a pointillism carpet, definitely from newsprint. At least Lucy put down paper, and then she goes after the pumpkin very aggressively, and Linus is freaked out by that. He's upset. He goes, "You can't tell me you were going to take the pumpkin out." Okay, and then we have this next scene, bats, and let me go to my notes. Let's see, trippy trick or treat dream opening sequence. Hoo owl. Okay, that's all the notes I had for that one. Let's see, trippy screen, bats, cats, and more. Moon. Then one leaf falls, then another. Okay, and then we see it. It's it starts with the bats, and we see kids getting surprised as they're trick-or-treating. The same kids we'll see trick-or-treating later. It looks like Lucy and some other kids. And then they see floating pumpkins, and they run. then dancing bones, then they run, then a cat on a string, giant cat on a string, they run, running back and forth, then a witch, then they run into the pumpkin patch, and there's a quarter moon, and then we have It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, written by Charles M. Schultz, and then the owl whoos, and then goes actually close up right into the camera. Okay, and then we have a leaf falls, and then Snoopy blows a leaf. Charlie Brown is raking. Snoopy blows the leaf to Charlie Brown. He says, "Thanks, old pal." Which here in my notes I said was the first line of dialogue, but actually Linus's objection to the pumpkin's treatment is the first line. Then this was strange. We see Linus with a giant lollipop, and then he charges and jumps into the pile of leaves. And he gives us the wise words, "Never jump with a wet sucker." Then Lucy, we see some bullying. Lucy tries to talk Charlie Brown into kicking a football. He says, "No, no, no." And they put there's some important dialogue. We'll have to follow up with that. But Lucy says she has a signed document that she's not going to pull it away. But she pulls it away. She says it was never notarized. And I guess we could say Lucy's probably one of the worst people in the world, but I can't get, I haven't collected any evidence other than this. Then like my second pass-through notes, one leaf falls, then another. Snoopy, something. So Snoopy misses one. Oh, he misses one leaf, then there's a birch tree in the background, question mark. Charlie Brown's hands are in his pockets. He crosses his arms over his heart. I think this is when he's talking to Lucy. There's lots of trees and open space and a light blue wispy sky. And in the live watch here, one leaf falls, like reddish-orange leaf. Great use of reddish-orange. And the second one that Snoopy blows. I like Snoopy's eyes. Very nice dog eyes. Oh, Charlie Brown has terrible posture when raking. It can't be good for Charlie Brown's back. Then the pile is full of like nice yellow and reddish things. Then Linus has a giant sucker, which I said no one. Who gives a kid a giant sucker like that? The only place you can get those is the theme park, I believe. And then there's Linus with a face full of leaves where he was thing. Okay, so now Lucy's trying to talk Charlie Brown into kicking the football. But he's like, "I'm not going to fall for this." His hands are in his pocket. He says, "No, you'll pull it away. I don't mind dishonesty as much as I mind your opinion of me." He says, "You must think, I don't get it." And she says, "Come on, Charlie Brown." And she says, "Please." And he says, "No, no, no, no." And he says, "What you're going to do is I'm going to come running and you're going to make a fool of me, And she goes, no, trust me. I got a note. What did I say? A signed document testifying that I won't do it, that I'll treat you with respect. You say, what kind of person needs a document after I guess these are kids. You say they're just learning. Charlie Brown walks pretty far away to read it. And then he says, "I'm going to kick this football." And, of course, Lucy goes to her old ways, pulls it away. Charlie Brown falls. The note falls. Lucy catches it. She says, "Funny thing, this document was never notarized." Okay, the next scene is really good. So Linus is writing a letter. "Dear Great Pumpkin, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween night." I really love how Linus has this glee in this scene, but even Snoopy comes and laughs at him. Another funny line is, "Being number 2, perhaps you're trying harder." And that's when Snoopy laughs. Then Lucy comes. She's really mad. "Not again. Writing a letter to a stupid pumpkin." And then Linus says, "There's 3 things you should I've learned never to discuss or something with people: religion, politics, and the great pumpkin." And then this kid crushed me. It's so good. P.S. If you were really fake, don't tell me, as I don't want to know. Then Charlie Brown's sister comes, and she's in love with Linus and his idiosyncratic ideals, I put. Or maybe she did. Ideas, maybe? Maybe she said that. And then Charlie Brown comes and takes his sister away. He says, you're too strange. Boy, you can't be around my sister. Then my second watch through, this is at 4:45. Linus has very nice handwriting. What is this? Linus, Lucy does not like, she bullies Linus. She throws Snoopy. Linus's tongue is out while he writes. Linus blushes when Sally's there. At first, Sally's hearts are blue for Linus, showing she likes him. Then they become like a white with a pink maroon. And then let's watch. Let's see. What would this watch? Yeah, dear group, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween nights. Thinking, hope you're going to bring me lots of presents. Chewing on his pencil. Charlie Brown's like, what are you doing? He says, well, it's a great pumpkin, man. When the great pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch and flies through the air with a bag full of toys. And Charlie's like, why do you believe in that stuff? And then Linus says, well, why do you believe in Santa Claus and with a beard? And then he said, well, you must get discouraged because more people believe in Santa than you. Well, let's face it, Santa's got more publicity. But being number two, as you said, you maybe try hard. That's when Snoopy cracks up. And Snoopy's laughing pretty hard. And Snoopy goes in the room with Lucy laughing, falls on her laughing, so then she throws the dog, goes in to see what her brother's doing, yells at him, not again. Right, you can't be writing a letter to a pumpkin. You're going to embarrass me. In the neighborhood, all they talk about is my brother who waits for the pumpkin. And she says, you better cut it out or else. That's when Linus says, yeah, don't talk about religion, politics, or the great pumpkin. And he says, And then this other girl with, I don't know who she is, Orange, she tells him he's wasting his time. Says, hey, pumpkin, everyone tells me you're fake, but I believe in you. But P.S., if you really are fake, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Then Sally shows up. She's grinning and inquiring about this great pumpkin. And Linus is like idiosyncratic cuteness. He's blushing. And this is when he has this glee. This is when the great pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch and brings toys to all the good children of the world. Would you like to join me in the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and wait for the pumpkin? She says, sure. I'd love to wait around for a pumpkin. He says, what are you doing, man? Don't recruit my sister for this weirdness. And then Linus licks the envelope and goes to leave. And Lucy's watching TV. She actually has a TV guide with her on the cover of it. You used to have to look up in a magazine if you want to know what was on TV. Talk about or go to one channel. That was the TV guide. And she goes, well, how do you think you're going to mail that letter? You're too short or whatever. And Linus uses his blanket to do it. And then we see Charlie Brown, who's dancing because he was excited to get his first invitation to a party. And Lucy's like, dude, you're on the wrong list. You're not invited to any parties. Let's see. Lucy has an old school wooden TV console because TVs used to be wooden furniture. The mailbox they go to is strange. It's on a pole. It's smaller. Water cooler. What does that mean? Candy corn colored leaves, I noticed. I don't know what that water cooler means. I don't know. But yeah, here we have Linus going through the living room. They have a nice lamp with a pink stripe. They go outside. We see all the open space they live in, which I don't know where they live. And he uses his blanket to get the letter in the mailbox, and a creative move. like Indiana Jones, like a young Indiana Jones. He floats the letter through the air, and it gets in there. Walks off. Lucy frowns, and there's Charlie Brown dancing. Poor Charlie Brown, like a little Irish jig that he was invited to a party. He's really, really happy. Dances again. And she goes, there's 2 lists, no invite and in. This is just the kids at their worst, huh? I mean, I don't know if this actually plants ideas in kids. That's what worries me. And then Charlie Brown blushes. Then Linus goes behind him, welcome, great pumpkin. And goes into the pumpkin patch with the sign, scoping it out, settling in. And we get to a commercial break. Let's see if I had any other notes about that. Not here. Linus with welcome great pumpkin sign. Then everyone's choosing their costumes. White sheets. Everybody uses white sheets in this town for costumes. That's disturbing. And they're talking about Linus being strange to Sally. They're saying, Sally, stay away from him. And then they're trying to tell trick or treats. Sally's never been trick or treating before, so they try to explain to her how to do it. Charlie Brown's hole filled. I had trouble with the it's a hole. He had a hole filled outfit covered in holes. He goes, I had trouble with the scissors. And then Snoopy goes by. They said, what's that? He goes, it's a World War I flying ace. And the drums start to, as Snoopy marches off. Let's see, in here, candy corn leaves, Lucy's with regular scissors. Yeah, who is giving these kids regular scissors? Sally says a costume is something in contrast to your personality. Then they talked about Linus. Boy, is he strange. He'll never learn. Then in 9 minutes and 10 seconds, Sally has this moment about trick-or-treat learning. And then this was an interesting line of dialogue. Someone comes in a costume and they say, is that you, Patty? Oh, it was Lucy. And she says, no. So someone thought it was Peppermint Patty, but Lucy's like, no, it's not Peppermint Patty. Then Sally learns how to trick or treat. Snoopy goes out into the night sky, more watercolors. So, yeah, here we have Sally cutting holes in her 2 holes. She's just going to be a regular ghost. And then a person should always choose the costume, which is in direct contrast to the personality. That's what Lucy says, but she's a witch with a red witch hat. And then they're making fun of Linus, blockhead of a brother at the pumpkin patch. And they said, what's wrong with that kid? He's strange. And I say, yep. And so Charlie Brown just keeps his mouth shut. And Lucy said, well, they were learning about trick-or-treating now. Oh, can I go is this the year I go trick-or-treating? They say, yeah, all you got to do is say tricks or treats, which I don't know if that's a local thing or just we said trick or treat, not tricks or treat. And Sally has a little trouble getting her thing on. She puts her arms through the eye holes. Then Charlie Brown's is all messed up. Then the other kids come. Charlie Brown's hole-covered sheets. Then the kid Pigpen comes. That they say, well, that kid's always dirty. And the Pigpen's like, they'll never know it's me. But they're like, yep. And then Snoopy marches out. World War I flying ace. Sally says, now I've heard everything. All right, she's bossing everybody around. Let's go trick-or-treating, and then we'll go to the Halloween party. And then Snoopy marches out. Charlie salutes Snoopy. Snoopy heads out into the night, holds the door. And Snoopy stands outside against the dark sky, the watercolored sky. And then the kids stop at the pumpkin patch. Linus says, hey, have you come to sing pumpkin carols? And he says he'll come here because I have the most sincere pumpkin patch. And then first Sally walks up to the crew, and then she looks back, and then she runs back. Let's see what the next thing said. Sally leads the trick-or-treating. Soupy goes out. The sky has more watercolors. 10:30, they're at the pumpkin patch. Linus is sincere, so sincere. He says something to Lucy. She says, welcome to the 20th century, bub. There's a full moon. There's purple and blacks and blues at the sky. 12 minutes, the camera zooms out on Linus and Lucy. So let's do the watch here. So yeah, we have Snoopy marching. Kids going into the pumpkin patch. Lucy's at the head, glaring even through her costume. And Linus is like, you're coming to do the sing pumpkin carols or whatever. And they're like, you're going to miss Halloween again. And Linus says, I'm dedicated to the great pumpkin. And coming here because I got the most sincere pumpkin patch around town. Well, you're going to be here when the great pumpkin rises up in the sky and flies through the air. So good, this part with Linus. And then he says, what, you don't believe in I thought every little girl believed in what they were told or whatever. And that's when she says, it's the 20th century, dude. And then Lucy gives them ultimatum, you coming or not? Lucy, are you coming or not? And she walks off. Unsure. Linus gives this goofy look on his face. Sincere, definitely goofy, but sincere. And then the hearts flutter. She runs back. And he says, oh, you came back, Sally. And he goes, maybe you'll get to see the great pumpkin with your own eyes. She goes, you better not try to hold my hand. I'll sock you. And then Linus talks about, Great Pumpkin's going to pick the most sincere pumpkin patch. He's got to pick this one. I don't know how any pumpkin patch can be more sincere than this one. And this is where the camera pulls out, and you see this giant, beautiful night sky and watercolor. I think they go to an ad break. Then the kids start trick-or-treating. Charlie Brown gets a rock 3 times. In bed, I don't know what that says. Then we see Snoopy, Sopwith Camel, and Dawn Patrol. And then Charlie Brown narrates Snoopy's start and take off. Then we have Snoopy looking around in a red scarf and a green cap, and he flies his doghouse into battle. And this has a very 60s, 70s feel to it with the colors, purple, blue, magenta. And it switches back to normal. As he takes on for, I don't know, blue. And you see a normal doghouse. Then he takes too many hits. And he's slowly going down. The doghouse starts to smoke. It lands. Snoopy shakes his hand at heaven, salutes. And then we have Charlie Brown's narration about being trapped behind lines or crashing behind the lines. And then Snoopy starts to try to make Snoopy's way back. We see Chalons-sur-Marne, 70, a sign that says that. I think a stone sign, 70 kilometers. It's dawn, or down behind enemy lines, across the French countryside, sleeping on hay. This is my favorite part of this special for some reason. Something about these French countryside sequences, and the music is just my favorite part. I don't know. I just love it. Let's see. My notes here. Full moon, purples and blacks and blues in the skies. Camera zooms out. And we have trick or treat. The kids get a lot of candy, and there's no adults except for adults throwing the candy out. There's very cosmic stars in the sky like that. The kids have brown paper bags. And then, we hear about the Sopwith Camel, the World War I flying ace, and the Sopwith Camel twice. And then contact, somebody shouts, the yellow sky gives way to blue, gray, to something, peep juicy orange to blue. And then they go into battle gray, white clouds, cool charcoal, smoke, circles. As they go down, there's pinks in the sky. Wow. And then let's see, live watch, kids, full moon, lots of different candy. The first house, Lucy asked for more candy for her brother. And we see the stars in the background. We see the lights in the house. We see Charlie Brown get a rock, which I just think is unconscionable. But also, relatable. You say, poor Charlie Brown, I got a rock. All the kids are like, I got a candy bar. I got a quarter. I got some gum. Looks like Lucy got a bag, and Charlie Brown gets the second rock. And the kids brag about what they got. Charlie Brown got a rock. Holy cow, 2 rocks. I mean, talk about devastating. Another rock, popcorn ball. Bunch of stuff. I got a rock. I mean, these adults, there should be a movie about Charlie Brown. Now the kids are walking again. See a red barn in the background there. And they're talking about Snoopy. Now we cut to Snoopy. Orange, original doghouse is orange. I think it's sometimes red bowl. The water bowl's blue. Snoopy's laughing. Gritting teeth, trying to go after the Red Baron. Goes to blue, goes to a magenta, or, what color do you call that? Does a whole loop-de-loop after the Red Baron, now back to normal colors. And now Snoopy's the one in trouble, dodging, hit, shaking and laughing, and now trying to go fast, going after the Red Baron again. Looking around left, right, can't find the Red Baron. Oh, that's because you're in trouble, Snoopy. Oh, just can't find it. Oh, now you're in big trouble. Engine trouble. Smoking. Snoopy stands and salutes as the plane goes down. Then they cut back, trying to look around, control the plane. Trying to land it, I assume. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Brace. Brace. Lands, the doghouse lands in the same place it was before. Shakes at the heavens. Jumps into the dog bowl, crawls off into the grass, shuns the Sumarne 70. It's Route 83 or something. Running behind trees, against the night, through a trench, through another trench, behind a rock, and then sleeping on a bale of hay. Full moon, crawling again in the night under grass. Then we have pinks in the sky. Wow. Then we see Sally's reaction at 16:10 to the kids bullying. Then we have the party. There's party decorations. There's cat hanging, like a cat decoration, witch on a wall, other stuff, some other stuff. Snoopy walking, sound effects, full white moon. Lots more decorations, hanging pumpkins. Then we have Schroeder with the portable piano and Snoopy crawling. Then on my next thing, oh no, that was my next one. Sorry, I got to go back to my first one. Whoopsie. We have the kids, they stop by the pumpkin patch and make fun of Lucy and Linus. It was Sally, actually. And Sally defends him. He'll be here. You can bet on that. And then Linus sweats as Lucy yells at him. She says, this better, something. And then they say security for an eye sensor party. I have no idea what that says. Sincerity for an eye sensor. I don't know what that means. Something sincerity. Then we're at the party. They say, hey, Charlie Brown, can you be our model? He says, me? And then they say, you're the perfect model for a jack-o'-lantern. And his head smokes and his face turns red, because it's not very nice. Then we see Lucy's now in a conical red wizard's hat, which is different. And We see Snoopy behind the lines. First punt to Masoon, 3 kilometers, and La Mosal, 4. Goes through a river, past a big moon, traverses some countryside. And he's hiding in some farmhouses, and he sneaks in a farmhouse. He's at the party. There's bobbing for apples. And then Lucy's like, I'll go first. They go, yeah, you have the perfect mouth for bobbing for apples. And then Snoopy's in there holding her apple that she gets. And she goes, my lips touch dog lips. Blah. Then we have Snoopy with the baton and what's the guy, Schroeder. And first the Schroeder plays, Snoopy's like, play Slim, play some music, Slim. And first it's like this happy march music, and Snoopy's going along happy. Then it's something more heartfelt with tears. Then happy again and sad again. So sad, Snoopy cries and howls, then cries and leaves and gets back on the trail. Okay, so let's watch this. The kids go and they surprise Lucy. They say, has a great pumpkin been by? You know, you two, a couple of suckers. And they say, you missed tricks or treats, but you could still go to the party. And they say, no. And Linus is blushing as Sally yells, you know, he'll be here. You know, you can bet on that. And we'll be the ones laughing. And then Linus looks different and she says, is he coming or what? And she goes, I hope so, because you're going to mess up my reputation and my first trick-or-treating. And he says, look at this pumpkin patch. It's really sincere. Then we have the kids studying the pumpkin. Actually, Charlie Brown has like a Zorro mask on. And then they say, oh, can you model? Oh, this is devastating how they say, oh, can you model? Charlie Brown's like, oh, yeah, wow. Then they spin around. They just draw a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern in the back of Charlie Brown's head. They say, yeah, just like that. A couple eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And then Sally copies it. And they say, yep, and Charlie Brown's blushing. And they say, thanks, Charlie Brown. Then we have Snoopy walking, head down, Point Tamasun, 3 kilometers. La Mosal, 4. Up a hill and then a river. Snoopy's got to cross the river, swimming across the river, full moon, night sky. Night sky, we see kind of 2 villages in the distance and some trees, very cool. And tall grass and Snoopy running, hiding behind rocks and trees, running between houses, and then up into the party in the French countryside. Then all the kids are cheering. We see lots of decorations. This is a good scene with the decorations. Sally goes to Bob for apples. The kids say, yeah, you got a big mouth anyway. And she comes out with kissing Snoopy. And she's not happy about that. Runs around, my lips touch dog lips. Snoopy goes over to Schroeder. Schroeder's got on this. Schroeder's no costume. He's costumed in music, I guess. And the music starts to play. Snoopy's going along, dancing and marching, very pleased. And then the tone turns again, like a little bit more of like a Moulin Rouge type, directing the music, attempting to conduct it. I don't know where you get one of these mini pianos like this kid Schroeder has. It sounds so good. And it's a long sequence. Snoopy's happy, and then Snoopy's a little choked up, breathes deep, emotional eyes. Well, then now like a crooked smile for the song. Nope, oh, I'm sad. No, so sad. Snoopy is so sad, crying, hiding Snoopy's eyes. Oh, no, happy again, marching and grinning. Oh, I'm happy, I'm marching, even moving my hands and now spinning my baton. I'm so pleased. Now I'm directing music again. Oh, nope, now I'm really sad. I don't even know if I can hold back tears. Nope, tears are leaking out of my eyes. Oh, as I go along with my finger, conducting the music and weeping. Poor Snoopy. Sad on Halloween. You know, Snoopy's had quite a Halloween. Weeping now on the side of the piano, howling. Now embarrassed and now really crying. Out the door, crying, weeping, tears spraying. Runs off and now sneaks off towards the pumpkin patch. Okay, and then this is a great scene. So Sally's something emerging patch where Sally's had everything, but then they hear the sound. I think she's had second thoughts. He says, "What's that?" I hear the great pumpkin, and then he faints, and he wakes up and he says, "What happens? Did I faint?" And there's a giant moon because what he thought was a great pumpkin was a Snoopy. And I think this was part of my disappointment was they really wanted there to be such a great mythology, the great pumpkin. But then Sally yells at him, "What a fool I was. I could have had candies and apples and gum. You owe me restitution." And then Charlie Brown comes in and Linus says, "You've heard of the fury of a woman's scorn?" And Linus decides to stick it out. And then he even says something. He says, "Good grief, one slip like that can cause the great pumpkin to pass you by. I'm doomed." I don't know what this says. 4 alarm Sally. 4 a.m. Oh, 4 a.m. That'll be important in a minute. Let's see on these notes. We have Sally looking cross, and maybe I didn't have the sound on this. And then it says, "What's that?" And then it's 21 minutes when she's like the joy and shock of Linus. The full moon, he faints. And she says, "You ruined my chance to have tricks or treats. I could have had candy, apples, and gums, and monies, and cookies, and treats, and lots of things." And this is where Sally, we're watching as her arms are crossed. Linus is trying to reason with her. When the great pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch, it will be here to see him. And then it's, "What's that?" The looks on their face are really, really good. And he's just so overjoyed. Like, I can hear the great, is that the great pumpkin? And then he's pointing there it is. He's like, "Finally." And then Snoopy rises out. And he faints. This is really good. Really good. And then he's like drunk with joy. He goes, "What happened? Did I faint?" He's smiling. And Sally's, grimacing, shaking her arms. And now she's letting out her woe at not getting to go trick-or-treating against the full moon, too. Really big full moon. So you dragged me into this great pumpkin mess. And, whatever. I missed out on all my tricks and treats. Can't believe I fell for it. What was I thinking? And poor Linus is just kind of staring at her in shock. I think she calls him a blockhead. What a fool I was. Then all the other kids come. Charlie Brown, they're all out of costumes. She's yelling at him. Linus is shaking. And Charlie Brown says, "Yeah, you heard about a woman feeling scorned. You should think about a woman that's been denied tricks or treats. Fury of a woman who's been cheated out of tricks and treats." Then all the kids leave Linus by Linus itself. He says, "It won't be long now till the great pumpkin comes, I'll still put a good word in for you," or something. And he says, "Oh, I can't believe and I love, he says, I'm doomed. A little slip like that can cause a great pumpkin to pass you by. I'm doomed." And he says, "All right, great pumpkin, where are you?" Then we see Sally. It's 4 a.m. and her alarm goes off, I guess. And she wakes up. She's like, "Oh, 4 a.m. She's got like a red house coat on or something and blue slippers. Checks Linus's room, not in there. goes outside. She has like some sort of beret on or something, yellow, and then Linus is freezing with just one blanket out in the pumpkin patch. She gets him up, helps him, brings him inside. This is like her one redeeming attempt at a moment. Takes his shoes off, puts him in bed, puts a blanket on him. He's sound asleep. And then we say, well, Sally's redeemed. And then we have the end scene with Charlie Brown and Linus talking. Another Halloween's gone. All I got was Rex. And he goes, yeah. And Linus says, well, he goes, well, you waited for the pumpkin, and the great pumpkin never showed up. So I guess we're both fools or something. He goes, don't take it too hard, Linus. He goes, oh, I do stupid things all the time. And Linus goes, what do you mean stupid? Just wait till next year. He says, you'll see, Charlie. This is it. He goes, I'm going to find a more sincere pumpkin patch as the credits start to roll. And this is what I'm going to teach everybody about it. When the great pump's going to come, they're going to give me double toys and candy because, well, that's Linus, the most dedicated pumpkin fan ever. And Linus just berates things. Let's see what else I got here in notes. Could have had candy. Yeah, okay. Sally has canopy bed and a teddy bear, but the teddy bear's on the floor at the foot of her bed. And then we have Charlie and Linus on the wall, philosophy, and talking about their defeats. And Linus is so mad we see Linus's teeth. Let's see. She looks in his room. She gets coats and stuff. She goes on, gets Linus freezing, puts him in bed. Linus and Charlie Brown are talking. All I got was a big bag full of rocks. No great pumpkin. Don't worry. I've done stupid things. And that's when he says, stupid. It's not stupid. I put WTF. But yeah, I guess you're like rewatching this a few times. I mean, I love Linus's sincerity and his joy in his reactions, how he faints and how he persists in the face of others' disbelief. And then even realizes, hey, if you don't exist, don't tell me, please. Something about just Snoopy's like crossing over the French countryside that I like, and I like the music about that. But other than that, I guess I just don't connect. I guess like the idea of Charlie Brown getting the rocks, I don't know. And I don't know, I guess maybe I don't know why as a kid I just didn't like this or desire to watch it as much as I still, I guess I say, well, like, those are the things that appeal to me. Like, I loathe Sally, I'll be honest. Charlie Brown doesn't exactly come across as a loyal friend in this, so I would have to criticize Charlie Brown and say, hey, buddy, have you been, like, who's worse? Have you been getting rocks every Halloween or just this Halloween? You should stay with your buddy Linus. But yeah, that's it. I hope you're resting and thinking about, a warmer, more comfortable pumpkin patch, a pumpkin pillow patch that you're floating in now, sinking in, the sleepy smells of pumpkin pie spice in the air as you gently drift into sleep. Good night. I want to thank everybody over on Twitter. Nug from Illusionoid, Jelly Sock, Tiffany, Grant W., thanks and good night. 10F10 and Rick Ross, thanks and good night. Jalen, happy to help you fall asleep. Mr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde, thanks and good night. Betty Pinned, thank you and good night. Emily G, who did what? Thank you and good night. Lynette N, thanks and good night. Jennifer L, coming with the mercy, thank you and good night. Christian J and his quixotic tweets. Jovian Drace, thanks and good night. Miranda, thank you and good night. Aubrey B, thank you and good night. Or Aubrey D, Colleen B, thank you and good night. Texas Toast from Kathy, thank you and good night. Richard P., thanks for clowning around and recommending some great podcasts. 194 Angle Street or Angel Street, probably Angel Street. Thanks for including us with some amazing podcasts. Holy. Amy C., Snacky, our buddy. Graham W., thanks for the shout out to Illumi Lights. Thanks and good night, Doctor. Vinyas, thank you and good night. Spacer, thank you and good night. Amelia Bergs, thank you and good night. Jonathan C., thank you for that great question. Glad I can answer it. December C., I see on Twitter. That's a good old friend of the show. Kim L., thank you and good night. Cordy Porty, thank you and good night. Thanks. Madison, congrats on launching your podcast or joining a podcast. It's all in the Reflexes podcast. Thanks and good night. Tanya and the Cats, again, thanks and good night. Christina with an A. Christiana, thank you and good night. Acoustic Sheep, thanks and good night. Michelle P., thank you and good night. Thanks and good night to Elizabeth. KCL, thank you and good night. Dawn M., thank you and good night. 95 Accord. I wish I had a 95 Accord, but thank you and good night. Or you have 2005, maybe 2000. Mary Beth, thank you and good night. Babs is out there being like Babs. Thanks, Babs, and good night. Joan W., thanks and good night. Maywood 09 with the debate wind down, thanks and good night. Carrie Ecotextual, thank you and good night. The Baroness Bonnie, thanks and good night. Suzanne W., thanks and good night. Icy Wiz, Christina, thank you and good night. Bear Trap D at the fitness, thank you and good night. JJL, thank you and good night. Small Cap, thank you and good night. A shout out to the Back of the Net podcast, thanks for the support. Ken W., thank you and good night. Georgia, of course, thanks and good night. Nocturne Vanessa, thanks and good night. Illusionoid, thanks and good night. I guess that's a week, Yeah, Chris H., thank you and good night. Dan from Eddie, thank you and good night. And Jenna F., thank you and good night.